Hi, my name is Jared Wilson. Welcome to my AEP 855 Module 1 Personal Introduction video. I do apologize, my voice is still kind of a little bit weak after being sick for the last couple of weeks. Just bear with me as we kind of get through this first module, and I'll try to make sure that I'm as clear and concise as possible. So to introduce myself just a little bit, I went to Florence High School in Florence, Colorado. I attended Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado. I taught for 4 years at Fremont Elementary School in Florence, Colorado, and then I turned to Swallows Charter Academy in Pueblo West. I have 1 full year under my belt, and I am working on my second year here at SCA. SCA is a public charter school. It is 3-track and is currently with 24 students. It has a rapid growing population, so we are adding a track every year, essentially, is what is happening. So the next year, our 8th grade will continue on to 3-track, and then 9th, and then 10th, 11th, and 12th. And then we will continue adding a 4th track as we go through. Our population, our community is just growing so rapidly that almost every school in my community is doing the same thing. To kind of break down my personal life, I'm 28 years old. I have 2 stepdaughters. I have Madison and Mackenzie. I have 3 brothers. I am the middle of my 3 brothers. I have a yellow lab, Pete. He is 9 years old. We all enjoy fishing, camping, sports. We love to go side-by-side riding, snowmobile riding. In my time that I'm not at work and not out in nature, I enjoy coaching high school football. I am a high school football coach at Pueblo West High. I am a middle school track coach, and I currently have got 5 years at FES, 2 years at SCA, and then above that, and I guess during my off time or my off season, so during the summer, I'm also an operator with Wilson Excavation. It's a family company my family's owned for years, so pretty much dirt work, installing basements, septic, power, water, you name it, we kind of put it in, and we kind of help establish a lot of the groundwork for the community and the people around that we serve. Breaking into this module, highlighting some of the teaching and pandemic struggles that I witnessed, was the biggest thing was the social interaction. I noticed for the kids really seemed to suffer, but I myself really suffered. It really highlighted the fact that and most teachers I'm sure could agree to this, that, you're not here for the meetings. You're not here for, the things that, might seem a little bit more, I don't want to say engaging, but just harder to get into versus, I'm here to work with the kids and to see the kids every day. And it was just so clear that when I was on pandemic, how much harder it was for me to stay motivated because I wasn't having the connections with my community. I wasn't able to connect with the kids. I was just sitting at a computer, and it made me kind of, lose my love for teaching online. And it was definitely a struggle for me. Communication with my administration, with my students, seemed to have a lot of issues. We had a lot of students that did not have adequate internet. And so it was just hard to have any type of communication, and that really bled into the inconsistency of things. We weren't sure how long we were going to be on, when we could come back, when we couldn't, when we could assign things, when we couldn't, what did grading look like. It just there was so much inconsistency up in the air that we didn't have a lot of uniformity with what was going on. Part of that could have been that entering the pandemic, I had started at a new school, at a new building, and so part of that was me also learning how to better collaborate with my team and with a new school, as well as a different community and different infrastructure as well. To be in this new building, there was a lot of news. For example, the building itself was all brand new. This school had never had a new building. It was used to having modulars. We had a brand new elementary school that was built, as well as currently building a high school. Along with that, we had a new curriculum. We were using a new curriculum called Core Knowledge, and it was just so diverse, so different than what I was used to. The community as well. I had come originally from Florence, where it was, lower SES, as to where now here at SCA, I've got very, very wealthy families that pay for everything they want and need, and I have families that go without. I have a drastic different. The neighborhoods are very different 10 minutes apart from each other. One thing that is very common here at SCA is that we are academically driven. The students, the families, not necessarily sport driven. This is what they come here for. We are a public charter school. They come for a specific, almost prestigious, if you will, education, and they are very set on how things are done. And so it took a lot of getting used to, especially during the pandemic when you didn't, have a teammate right there next to you to ask. Everything was by phone or by video chat. Breaking down the resources that we researched in Module 1, you have 3 types of mindsets. You've got number 1, that all students can learn. It kind of identifies with the fixed versus growth mindset and the relentless in establishing connections. These types of mindsets are the fact that everyone can learn. There's some way to reach every student, and that you have to be relentless in making those connections. You're going to continue to do that until you find that solution. Number 2 is the teacher collaboration over isolation. They leverage time, talent, and resources, and they're strong in decision making. And then the third mindset is to look at happiness and optimism, full of positive psychology and how being happy, being where you are, and doing a good job will help increase your chances of positive outcomes in teaching. Looking at the 5 types of depositions, number 1 is confidence. So these type of leaders are level 5 leaders. They're very confident. They go into situations fully determined, without any type of repercussion. They lead despite critics, so they're not worried about what other people are saying or if they're questioning what their decision is. If it is right for the students and it is right for student learning, it is number 1 to them. Second is the risk taker and decisive. They take a ready, fire, aim perspective. They're very decisive. It doesn't mean that they put student learning at risk, but they're willing to take a chance to better the education for students. Third is to approach with a sense of humor. It's less common than the other traits listed. It helps to ease tension, to de-escalate situations, and then it really highlights the difference between having a sense of humor versus just being funny, with the idea that having a sense of humor is being able to find humor in difficult situations and kind of improve the morale or improve the feelings around you to try to help through those situations. Empathetically assertive. These traits usually balance patience and persistence. They use relationships to overcome barriers to change. So they do push change, but they take their time. They allow people to change when they can, and they help facilitate those relationships to do so. The next one I identified is a learner. Learners tend to observe and share everything. They are very relatable with their staff and their students. They share data. They look for any type of consistencies, any type of miscorrelations to try to solve any type of obstacles or shortcomings. The 3 different types of practices, you have focus and prioritizing. That is simplicity over complexity and identifying, communicating with clarity. You also look at examining feedback and data. So you're looking for the correct data. And then once that data has been collected, it does get reviewed and then it is acted upon. The idea is behind this practice is to collect that data, review it, act upon it, and have a strong impact. You're looking for where can you get the biggest bang for your buck kind of scenario. And then number 3 was the emotional intelligence. It talks about how when you meet someone, you're either going to inspire them, motivate them, or demotivate them. And this type of practice is to really take that at the forefront, that either you're going to inspire them, you're going to motivate them, or you're going to demotivate them. And how you do that, and relying heavily on the inspired and the motivated side of that. It goes through always treating everyone with dignity and respect, and focusing on the safety and value of all staff members and stakeholders. The 8 principles introduced in these articles was the first was a personal courage. You have positive educational environment and stand up to detrimental policy. So really looking out for the students and the staff and making sure that just because policies might be popular or shared by those around doesn't mean it's the right thing, but focusing on the right thing. Number 2 is a public interest ahead of self. So always putting students and staff first. 3 is self-control, self-discipline, and integrity. So always being a positive role model and making ethical decisions. 4 was to task and employee centeredness. So focusing on teacher strength and needs for both students and staff are put for first. Number 5 was recognizing talent, identifying strengths for staff and students, and organizing those strengths to where they can be most effective. Number 6 is requiring high ethics from everyone, so ethical behavior for all. Something needed to accomplish that is those clear expectations, clear communications of what that looks like, and making sure everyone is on the same page and they're held to a high standard. 7 is to identify the sensitivity and understanding in a situation and to always practice equity. Number 8 is inclusiveness, making sure that all stakeholders are involved, all stakeholders feel involved, they feel like they are making a contribution. It requires a high level of trust, and then it also requires consideration and respect for all parties involved. Looking at myself as an individual, I have a little bit of experience with looking at fixed versus growth mindset. At FAS, before I was here, we did a lot of different professional developments and things like that for the staff and for the students, just to kind of look at the difference between the two, and always trying to have that growth mindset so that you are always able to change. You are always able to become better than you were yesterday. When I look at my mindsets, I tend to lean heavily on the fact that all students can learn, and happiness and optimism. I truly believe that if the people I'm here with at work are happy, then we're going to have better results. I also translate that to my students. When this place is a place that my students love to be in the morning, then we're going to have much higher results rather than some place they have to go. Looking at dispositions, I definitely use sense of humor. I think I try to find the light side of everything, try to bring some humor out, because sometimes life's hard. Sometimes you get into difficult situations and difficult positions that, life kind of puts you in, and you got to be able to laugh. And it's a lot easier when you're in a tough situation to have someone to laugh with rather than to have someone to come down on you. And so I definitely try to use sense of humor in all situations to try to let people know that I'm going to be supportive, and we're going to have a laugh, and we're going to get through whatever we have to get through. And, that's just the bottom line. Looking at practices, I love feedback and data. Anytime I can find something data driven, I do it. Anytime I bring something to current administration, if I've got some data to support it, I feel really strongly about it. I can say, hey, here's what the numbers are saying. This isn't my just my decision. This is what facts are stated, and I like to look at that. I like to dive into that with schools. Just identifying what kind of pitfalls, what kind of ways that you can get better. Looking for principles. I really like inclusiveness. I think all characteristics are important. All strengths are important. They provide a puzzle piece in this gigantic puzzle that we all work on together. And I know I certainly don't have all the strengths by any means, but the people I do work with do have them. And I know that where I'm weakest at, I can find someone that's strong, and we can work together, and we can collaborate, and we can make the best team possible. One that I really do want to look at is more of recognizing talent and where to put those strengths. I know for coaching, for example, this is huge, being able to identify what athletes can do what and how to best utilize them. I see the staff here at SCA the same way. How can I best place my staff to accomplish the best opportunity, the best chances for success? And so that's something that I'm not quite good at yet, but something I want to continue to work on the most. How does this support the well-being of all students and adults? It's critical to have a strategic approach to leadership. You're not just up there winging it. Even people that are doing a very natural approach, there's a strategic approach to that leadership. It provides more opportunities for positive outcomes. And having such a diverse community and staff, it is critical that I am able to adapt to all the different types of learning styles, leadership styles that are needed. Here's a shot of my references and then my correlation. This assignment gave me the opportunity to create a presentation that introduces myself to new classmates. During the course, I'll be reviewed by other peers, and it's critical that I feel confident enough to share my work without the fear of judgment. Providing intro videos is a great way to establish a supportive community within the course. Along with my intro video, I also have the opportunity to learn more about leadership. This assignment provided me an opportunity to analyze different aspects of leadership. After identifying those aspects of ethical leadership, I was able to review and reflect on leadership style and compare it to those stated in the research. Due to lack of time, I'm going to just go ahead and show this one as well so that you can pause it and read it. And then here is a few seconds worth of my reflection. I appreciate you following with my Module 1 video. Have a great day.